Why is it doing this?
She said, "You're gonna hear me today."
There's no such thing as a pause button when it comes to Solange's music,
Mm-hmm.
madam. Who the F do you think you are? Who in the FDNY do you think you are? I don't know why I said that.
FDNY.
Fire Department of New York?
Yeah.
Do you hear yourself?
No, it's not on.
I keep saying every week
What?
that I'm going to get I'm going to change out the SD card thing because it always says card is protected.
Hmm.
Hello to all that have joined us on today's edition of Village Vibes Podcast at X-Ray FM.
0 and 0. There's somebody there.
Somebody's there. I see you, homie. I see you, player.
Can't see
Dream. Oh wait. Dreams. Dreams of a long way of today. I know those aren't the lyrics, but that's okay. Because the notes were together. Dreams. Come on now. Pure viola. Pure viola.
You are talented.
I am. Thank you, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, we will be beginning shortly. God willing and the creek don't rise. Oh, that's Kenny. Hi, Kenny.
Kenny.
Kiwi Nikita. Hello, hello. It must say Kiwi or Kiwi. Is it Kiwi or Kiwi? I don't want to get nobody.
You know you're on yours, right? This is live on yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did mine, and I'm doing VVPs now.
Got it.
Dreams, they come a long way of today. Me and my legendary runs. My teeth hurt. Maybe I should stop chewing gum.
Stop saying that. Yeah, stop chewing the gum. Spit it out. Okay. Oh, I gotta get my own notes up.
Yeah, I gotta turn my actual computer on. Hello, Kayla. Kayla's joined us. Oh, you're right next to me.
And I waved too.
See, and that's how we get participation points. Do you hear yourself?
Yep.
Do you sound good?
Mm-hmm. Always.
Is there... Okay, ma'am. Sure. Sure, sweetums.
Actually, I feel like I'm going to be losing my voice soon.
Be right back.
Pee so fast.
Do I really?
Yeah, and wash your hands. It's really incredible.
I do manage to wash my hands.
Actually.
I felt like there was a gentle reach of a read, but I'm going to let it go today.
It was not, actually.
That's just how I felt.
Well, then I honor and respect how you feel.
Thank you. And this is what I
apologize.
Yes, this is the paramount of our relationship, and I appreciate you for
implying that you don't wash your hands after touching your.
You've done that before. You've implied that I don't wash my hands before.
Well, it's because, like, because you go so fast. Well, that's why.
You've definitely said I didn't hear water run. That's specifically what you said. I recall that, if anything.
That's funny.
I'm glad you think it's funny, Kaylinda.
I'm observant.
Poor Jessie.
Yeah, I'm looking up the specific counts.
Hey, yeah.
Wow.
I'm giving you outfit, honey. I'm giving you Mary J. Blige. I'm giving you B-girl tees. There's mother.
Are you gonna unhook one side?
Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like the unhook side.
Because then you don't see my full belly.
No.
And my little titties, and my big belly.
It does give you a little more room to breathe.
It does, but I was going for a look, ma'am. Let me know when you're ready. Can you hear yourself well? Are you happy with what your volume is?
I'm happy.
Shake
I'm ready.
Shake them. You are giving me shoulder, bitch. Yes, mother came here with CBS Morning News realness. Come on.
Why does that have to be the defined style?
She came up in here, honey, ready to give you a little bit of Good Morning America. Oh, wow. What a short laugh. Thank you.
Would you like it to continue?
Dreams, they come a long way of today.
Woo! World is a wild place.
It is. Are you out of breath? It sounds like you're out of breath. I'm one to talk. I'm always out of breath. I fold forward for too long and, I lose consciousness. Start to get lightheaded, dizzy. Would you take this out of the way? Because I can't reach it.
Take what?
That. Aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? Tough. Hello, viewership. I can't see anything.
I can't either.
Dreams.
Somebody's watching somewhere. Maybe.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's
overflowing. Sing it louder, baby. Sing it louder. Let them hear your voice.
I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing.
Now give them face. Now go straight to the camera.
You can take the next line.
Da da da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I only know literally the first 30 seconds of that song. As you know, it's not new to you.
Diana, though.
Diana?
Is.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I like more legendary versions, like, the deeper grit-voiced ones.
But, okay.
You know, Patti LaBelle, Tina Turner.
Wait.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me.
Yeah, don't say anything else. Because what you're really doing is backhanding Diana Ross.
I would never backhand the goddess. Okay? Never. Oh, for one.
Are we recording? No.
For you ready?
Ooh, bitch. This mic does not smell good.
Oh, somebody's breath was on it?
All right.
Well, it's a... You want to switch?
It's a community mic. No, I'm good.
We go.
It's all mics. Our mics smell like that, too.
All you need is one. I've never had anything like that. So, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Vibers of the world!
Spice up your life!
Every boy, day, and girl!
Spice up your life! Hey! That was clever!
I thought about it when I was in the bathroom.
You had that plan?
I did. I did.
Like it.
I was prepared.
How beautiful.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
I be thinking about shit.
Spice Girls are really trying it by trying to call it people power now. Stupid.
People power?
Instead of girl power.
I
guess I could see some positives in that, but...
I mean, it's inclusive of everyone. I mean, they're just trying to get their bag.
Yeah, that's true.
They just want the money.
They already have it.
Do they?
Half of them are untalented anyway.
Half?
Yeah, you're right. 4 out of 5. 3 out of 5. I would say 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 of you can't really sing.
I'm Brittany.
Welcome to Village Vibes. I'm Kayla.
This is Village Vibes Podcast.
Here we are again.
Brought to you by X-Ray FM.
Mm-hmm. Right here, right behind us. You listening can't see it, but if you would tune in to our Instagram Live,
you would know.
You dusty bitches. Just kidding.
And you're giving us red carpet realness today with that shoulder number.
No, you told me I was giving you CNN.
And I said CBS.
MSNBC.
I said nobody.
Oh, so not even CNN local news.
No one on CNN or MSNBC exposes shoulders.
Really?
Never. Unless it's like, an over-the-top piece and the shoulders are both exposed like that, but not like an over-the-shoulder number. It's a little bit too much. It's a little too provocative for, the conservative audience.
Sure.
So, we're here for another lovely Lucious Lyons episode. And it's exciting. Spring has started. It's officially the 4th day of spring. Also, do not forget that tomorrow is daylight savings time, and your clocks will automatically adjust. But for those of you who still have analog clocks, make sure you just do that rewind real quick, or is it fast forward?
It's not just analog. It's also like your microwave and your oven. Like
those are all analog.
But those don't change automatically.
But those are analog.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I thought an analog.
You're a teacher. You should know these things. I don't have to know these things. I don't teach children.
Okay. I thought analog was a regular clock, and then digital is
there you go. Clock. Digital and analogs.
I don't know.
I bet you there are microwaves. Anyway, we have a great episode for you today. We have a very special guest, Juan Ramirez from the Racist Sandwich Podcast. Catch. You see the elevation that's happening, everybody? You see the levels? Do you see the platforms? Level up. Blah, blah, blah.
Sound like you're drowning. Anyway, here we are.
Yeah.
We're going to get into today's recording. We've got really exciting things going on this weekend.
That's true, especially today. What a busy day we have.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that we'll share, but
yeah, we'll share it when things are finalized. But otherwise, thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your continued support. We are honored. We are blessed. We are appreciative and grateful. And shout out to you single viewerships. That's okay. You tune in after.
I see. Okay.
And
off we go.
Ooh. Yikes.
I saved that for right after.
That was sexy.
Thank you.
Do you want to take it first?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can take what we learned first.
Cool. I like how we work.
It's a partnership.
It is.
Bitch. Okay.
Okay. Stilettos, pumps in the club. Yeah. Shout out to Crime Mob. That's some old hood Atlanta shit from back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Bae of the week. Who's your Bae of the week?
My Bae of the week this week is my therapist.
Hey, first of all, I commend you for going to therapy.
Thanks. Yeah, I put it off last time. Actually, I'm only able to book her at max. At minimum? I don't know. Anyway, I can only see her once a month because Kaiser therapy is trash and people get booked up really fast. Trash there are only 2 locations in the Portland metro area that have mental health services.
And they're all booked out.
And they get so booked out. So I scheduled my next appointment with her a couple days ago, and she was like, my next opening is April 15th.
Wow.
I was like, what?
Hey, to anybody that's watching, do you all have, in the Portland metropolitan area, is that a thing? Okay. Check my sources. If you have any idea of what my sister can do over here for some therapy, if you have a sliding scale option, there are clinics in different colleges, all kinds of options. But if you have something, she's fully insured. Please hook her up. We all are on this journey together, and we all need therapy. Jesus.
Yeah, I really like her. So the last therapy appointment I had was about a month and a half ago, and I canceled it on the day of. I called in the morning and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it. I didn't have any other plans. I just didn't feel like going. What did you say?
Oh,
what are
I
you
said
mouthing
excuses.
to the camera?
I said excuses.
It was excuses. I was not in a space for it. We'll just say that. So anyway, I canceled the appointment. I ended up having to book out again another month and a half. So I finally had I had an appointment yesterday. 2 days ago. It went really well. She pointed out a lot of things that I will talk about in the next segment. But, yeah, I think I need... Well, we know that when you do therapy, it's not just about sitting on a couch and talking about your feelings, right?
Right. I think we all have this kind of convoluted idea of what we think therapy is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that we think someone else is going to have the answer. But particularly what I've been learning is that, like, no, sis, it's me.
And everything that they tell you is actually just shit that you've already done or said. Mm-hmm. And they're just pointing out, like, they're just defining it for you.
And kind of opening the floodgates to, like, emotions.
Right.
And, like, you probably need a good cry, you know.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about therapy is you're not only just you're talking about yourself, but you're doing, and what the therapist's job is to get you to see how what you're doing impacts the rest of your life. And whether or not you need to change that and give you the tools and skills to change those things so that you can be better at them.
What in your past has contributed to how you operate today as well. And how
Trauma,
that impacts.
all that.
Yes, it's real. So shout out to all of you who are getting therapy. Shout out to all of you who are thinking about therapy. I suggest just try it and give it time. There's no need to rush and there's no need to feel this immediate sense of like, I've got it all figured out now. It's all done and I don't need to see anybody. Or, it also can take a time. You have to develop an actual relationship with your therapist. Mm-hmm. Period. Like, and you have to, more than anything, you have to be as upfront and honest as possible because they can't give you nothing if you holding stuff back.
And more than anything, you need to be ready to invest in yourself. In fact, you really already are kind of invested in yourself if you're seeking out therapy. But when you start that process, if you are not invested in your own well-being and becoming a better person, therapy is not going to work for you.
It's very true. And be open, honest, and upfront. Tell the truth. They are there to keep your secrets. They are there to listen to how much of a scumbag you are. They are there to know how terrible of a person you are.
That's really what it felt like this week.
It's true.
Yeah. I agree.
So, therapy is a good thing.
It is.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Over the shoulder number.
Okay.
I didn't mean to touch you without your permission.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
What you said just reminded me of Amanda Seales. Okay, polka dots.
Shout out to Amanda Seales. You're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Who are your bays of the week?
I want to start out with a few quotes, and bear with me, you all, because I have quite a few today, and they are funny as all get out.
Okay.
The first.
Ready.
Came from our good girl Rashonda, which she found the quote somewhere. Accountability feels like an attack when you're not ready to acknowledge how your behavior harms others. Wow.
Didn't we have a whole episode about how accountability is not oppression?
No. Now be careful.
I've been saying. But yes, let's give Rashonda the credit. No, I'm just kidding.
It's true. It's true.
No,
Amia posted something else that said, if you avoid conflict to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself.
Oh.
I am numero uno for that. I will be fuming internally, okay? My organs will be burning because I choose to be silent.
Externally too, sometimes.
My facial region always lets you know how I feel.
Yeah, that is true.
Facts on facts.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a big part of becoming an adult is unlearning a lot of the shit you were already taught by people who didn't know what they were doing either. Mm-hmm. So you can blame your ancestors. Shame on all of you.
Jesus.
The nerve!
That is harsh.
The nerve of you to ruin my existence.
Oh, wow.
Just kidding. I'm just playing.
Yeah. But truth.
Wait, where's the funny ones? There's some, okay. All right, bear with me, white folks. White people. What should I do about racism? I just don't know what to do. I know I have white privilege, but what can I do? Also white people. Adopt, don't shop. Feed your dog vegan food. Have you tried these amazing shelters? Y'all know what to do. But what you would lose... But what you would lose if you actually did something is what stops you.
Okay. Oh my God. That totally speaks to something that I want to talk about in what I learned. That's so funny. Okay.
So no, I won't mention that.
That's such a touchy It's touchy.
People go up for dogs.
Because on the one hand,
myself.
I think there's a space for animal rights activists,
Absolutely.
and I think it's important. But on the other hand, I'm like,
At the expense
y'all
of
putting a
humans.
lot of energy into some animals.
People,
Y'all putting a lot of energy into animals.
People be out here with GoFundMe's for their cancer treatments with $0, but these dogs be having thousands. I'm just saying, thousands.
True. Mm-hmm.
And this one also caught me. Amir posted this one in elementary school when we would have to read out loud to the class from the textbook. I would literally count the kids in front of me and figure out what section I was reading so I could practice it before it got to my turn.
I did that shit too.
And I think that's where my anxiety started. 81% said yes. It was me too. I'd be like,
yeah. I'd be like, 1, 2,
like,
that's
Dominic,
3 paragraphs down.
Latanya.
Shit, I don't know that
okay.
word. Now I'm gonna need. Because sometimes it was like some shit you didn't know. You don't want to look stupid in front of your whole class.
And then you also wanted to check to make sure that there weren't any words that you couldn't pronounce.
That's what I mean. So that's why you do the scan so that you make sure.
Approximation. Got it. I'm ready, teacher. My go.
Popcorn. Written.
Last one, and this one just took me under. Shout out to Jussie Smollett for hiring black actors for traditionally white roles.
We talked about that one last week.
Did you mention this one last week?
No, but
if we
I
did,
don't know.
it's still funny.
But that was
it's
so funny. It's so funny. It's just like the tweets about Scarlett Johansson. No, do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Scarlett Johansson. It's the same. It's so funny.
It's the same, sister.
That is funny.
So I just had to, thank you for bearing with me. I had to definitely get on that. Now, continuing on to my actual bays of the week. The first bay of the week is going to go. I have three. I did
okay.
Madam C.J. Gayle King.
Yes.
Whose edges did not move, whose angles did not stutter, whose face and demeanor remained calm. Okay?
In the face.
Legendary interview that will go down in history as iconic whilst enduring the absolute shit fuckery from Robert the Kelland.
Did you see what Amia posted about it after?
No.
About how a lot of folks, particularly white women, are, like praising Gayle for what she did in that interview. Everybody's kind of praising Gayle, but that when white folks do it, comes from a place of, like,
look at this.
Bewilderment, this,
the magical Negro.
Yes, Black women aren't expected to do this all the time,
right?
Everywhere,
right?
And that if she had a reaction, nobody would be specifically Absolutely. White people wouldn't be going up for her.
Absolutely.
But that by congratulating her and praising her, we don't give Black women, the space to actually feel things and react as humans.
Yes, that coupled with the idea that they believe Black women don't feel pain.
Yeah.
I have to
or that they're not allowed to express it.
Right. Right.
But yes, Gayle did her thing in that interview.
She said, "Robert, are you done?" Gayle King, and she has every right to do what she did this morning by requesting a raise. Every right. She's like, y'all can't tell me I'm not here and I'm not ready. I just interviewed, okay? I just got the interview.
You had that asshole in my face. I will live forever in meme culture.
And those poor young ladies. I don't know this. Again, I don't know these situations, but there's just too much evidence at this point. And talking about the past, I'm really quite shocked, and there's probably a clause for this. I'm quite shocked that they didn't bring anything up in regards to Aaliyah. This man married a 15-year-old Aaliyah.
Right.
Why did no one say anything?
That's all the evidence you need.
That's enough.
That's it. That's it.
I think it's because her estate is they have her stuff on lockdown. They're like,
and I can understand that.
I
get that.
But that acting, honey, that was award winning. If he doesn't get an Emmy for that award, then I don't know. Give R. Kelly an Emmy while he's in jail. At least.
Have you seen that tweet about the person who won the last talent show in jail is now upset because
R. Kelly's coming in? Imagine being the person
tweet was way
who
funnier
won
than
the talent show in jail knowing R. Kelly's coming. That shit had me also rolling on the ground. And then my second Bay of the Week goes to Aisha Ash. Aisha Ash, I first learned of her when she was a principal, even before she was a principal dancer at New York City Ballet. She was the only black ballerina for quite a while. She will also know her as the stand-in for Zoe Saldana's character on Center Stage. All y'all hoes who thought Zoe Saldana was doing any of them technical steps are delusional. Never.
Did she give you any kind of? Did Zoe give you any sort of technique?
No, Zoe has. She's like Miss Girl from So You Think Not. From what's the film with Kerry Washington, Julia Stiles? Save the Last Dance. That's the T. Yeah, okay, she had no technique, none. Okay. She didn't give you nothing but a snatch body. Okay, that was it.
I still liked her though.
Yeah.
Anyway, more about the dance.
And nobody puts out a cigarette with a point shoe. Sorry. No one. At least maybe the kids do that today, but I never grew up with any of that. So anyway, Aisha Ash, she went around inner city Rochester in a tutu to change stereotypes about women of color and inspire young kids. And they had, this is just one of the photos that they posted of her, but I love that she did that to show these young black girls that like their capabilities are beyond. They are born into a richness and a fulfillment that they already own. They don't have to be taught it. They just have to be made aware and to know and to stand firm in that strength and in that power.
Amen.
Come on, black babies. Okay. And then finally, Arkansas Senator Stephanie Flowers for her epic reading on the Stand Your Ground bill. She was not here for it today. I got this source from the Young Black and Fabulous. Flowers, the only black member in the Senate Judiciary Committee, served up a fiery speech about the Stand Your Ground laws that are on the verge of being passed in her state. This is case in point why women, especially women of color, are needed in lawmaking spaces such as state government.
Federal government, too.
Yeah, I'm really tired of, like, this patriarchy system.
I think this might be the election that we get a female president. Or a female identified president.
As long as we can clear the grounds of any opportunities to prevent that woman from stepping into office, because I'm sorry, it's just not going to be an easy road.
No, it's not.
I genuinely have a fear that, like, I have a genuine fear that this person is going to be reelected.
Yeah, I do too. I mean,
I'll be honest. I have room for hope and positivity, and I will always support and, like, do the things that I need to do and whatever. But I really am frightened.
Yeah. I think.
And furthermore, I'm frightened if Trump doesn't get reelected, because these kids are gonna have their guns, honey.
I know. Ooh.
Last, I would like to do a shout out to folks who are taking a stand on normalizing sexual fluidity without judgment and ridicule. Shout out to sexual exploration, safe sexual exploration, coupled with communication and presented without fear. Shout out to marginalized people being properly represented in media, in Congress, and social narratives. Happy International Women's and Black History Life, because we shouldn't only be represented 1 month out of the year. I love you all.
Come on, speeches.
Dreams.
You really are on an inspirational kick today. I like it.
Dreams.
You saw. Dreams. You imagine.
Dreams. Okay, that's all I got.
Those are good bays.
Thank you.
Okay.
Heading into the next segment, shall we?
Heading in.
What?
Head first.
We learn.
Into the.
Head first. I like that. I was gonna be gross.
No, that was kind of the.
Urethra first.
Whoa.
I stopped. I joked.
I don't like that you said urethra. It's gross. That grosses me.
I said it was gross. Anywho.
It just makes me think of pee-pee. Pee-pee. Okay.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. And here we are again. Not 10 seconds later with the next segment.
But only the people who are viewing us live know that this is how we actually do the production.
This is what I learned.
Finish it. Don't laugh.
No, that was
Do it again. Do it again and
No,
finish it.
I'm okay.
Finish it. Look at the camera.
That's Hadar's job. That's what she does. That's why.
If none of you know, if none of you are aware of this, Kayla is a phenomenal vocalist.
I'm not.
Phenomenal.
Don't tell people that.
She is excellent, and you all should know. Okay? I need to stop doing this because Trump does this a lot, and I've always hated that. Let me just do my.
Was that it? Is that the face?
Is it bad that I just hate watching his mouth move with the non-lippage that's there? Like, just nothing.
Yeah, I mean, in general, okay, so I have a thing about mouths. I don't like, God, no, I won't say that on air. But there are things about mouths that I don't like.
Like what?
Like things that people can't control, too.
Hey, I have a list.
No, okay, don't expose me like that. I was trying to, shh. Anyway.
You know I've lisped before on the show and you've cracked up.
Yeah, but that's because it's a mistake. That's not a speech impediment.
Or my stress, or drunk, or I'm stressed.
You're tired. Yeah.
Just kidding. No, I really do. I'm like,
but
how
there's
does it?
Something about his mouth that really grosses me out.
And I'm gonna be also really.
It looks like a butthole.
Yeah, it does.
Opening up.
Just stick pins right on in that thing. You know. And then the other thing too. I just what a funny shaped body. I I saw the footage from when he went to go to Korea, and I was like, wow. I was visualizing him naked, and I was just like, I bet it's just god awful.
I wouldn't call myself.
No, nobody.
I wouldn't call myself a body shamer.
Just a Trump body shamer. Just a Trump body shamer.
If somebody is a disgusting person, both inside and out, I see no reason why to not insult.
Yeah.
Somebody's physical stature.
Absolutely.
I imagine
terrible
it's very wrinkly. Orange, like spotty orange, not like fully orange.
I would not want to touch said person.
He looks like he would smell like a Big Mac.
Yeah. You know, just like really aged Crisco oil.
Yeah, like
that
with
used
American
Crisco oil.
Yeah,
yeah, with yes. So there's a layer of fish oil, a layer of chicken oil, a layer of burger oil, a layer of like
burger oil.
Chop oil, loin oil, and let that sit for 30 years. That is how I imagine he smells.
Yeah. Lucky Melania. She deserves it.
Yuck.
She deserves.
I
just imagine her. Okay.
Ew! Okay. She probably had to be sedated. Okay.
Whoa!
Herself. She was like, sedate me! Like whatchamacallit from Grey's Anatomy. Remember Sandra Oh's character when she was like having a meltdown and she was like, there's like a gif about it. She was like, sedate me! Speaking of shouts like that, I also want to shout out the first season of Walking Dead when when her sister died. Andrea.
That's what she did for 5
minutes.
I can't. I stopped watching that show a long time ago.
Okay. All right. What I learned. In the vein of Crisco oil, I really was able to take a step back and to notice what happens the moment I feel under stress. The moment stress introduces itself to me in my life, I notice my pattern is to say, fuck everything. I'm going to McDonald's. I'm eating Popeyes for lunch. I'm having Pizza Hut for dinner. And where's the alcohol? I stress eat. Like, I've always known that I've loved food. And I've always known that, like, it's been there. But, like, to actually realize it, like, in real time, completely threw me off. Granted, when I felt stressed yesterday or 2 days ago, I still went forward and went ahead and got me a breakfast sandwich and got me.
Well, that's the thing about stress eating and eating unhealthily is that if you stress eat, you maintain those patterns whether you're in a good space or a bad space still. Mm-hmm. And we know that fast food and processed food is highly addictive. Yeah. So, you know, even if you're trying to be good and you're not overly stressed, you might roll through for a breakfast sandwich anyway.
No, I won't. I usually will do good at sticking to my stuff. You tried it.
I was more just justifying it for myself.
Sticking to my stuff. Is he messaging you?
Yeah, we're good. I can
Okay. No, but I think I
can
just saw that I got
multitask.
I know I just saw that I got two text messages, so I wasn't sure. Anywho, so yeah, my stress eating is definitely is triggered by stress. Like, and I'm feeling like I may need an accountability partner. The moments that I've done really well in terms of my nutrition and sticking to things is when I had somebody do it with me. So shout out to Andrew Gregg,
Mm,
because Andrew,
mm,
you and I used to go hard when we were on our plant-based eating diets or lifestyles and choices. I don't like diet. Um,
mm-hmm.
we did that, and I really like. There were actual changes that happened within my body, which I'm really grateful for. I was really grateful for, but I'd like to get back to that. Do you ever feel like you need an accountability partner?
Yes, all the time.
You know, I've tried to be your accountability partner a few times.
Mm-hmm.
How come it never went through? Was that because I
Um.
gave up?
Are we talking about like way back when we would like work out together?
Yeah, like 3 in the morning,
Mm.
like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. We did that
Yeah, it was
twice,
like
right?
5 in the morning. Yeah. So I used to work out twice a day, and I did that for like a little over a year, and I was really thin, and it was because it was a team of people,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't just it was a social outlet for me too. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, I was living by myself, and I was working full time, and I was in a transition period between undergrad and grad school,
Mm-hmm.
and that worked for me because I had all of these people. I enjoyed going. I really liked it. It was fun, and I had friends there. When I stopped doing that, I kind of let all of that go. It's not so much that I need somebody to hold me accountable. It's that I want somebody to tell me what to do when I'm working out.
Oh,
I have a hard time coming up with things to
yeah.
do. I'm just like, well, I guess I'll hit the treadmill for 30 minutes
I
and then
got
I'll
you.
lift weights.
I can
Where I
definitely
need something more dynamic.
got you. I can definitely build a program. I don't have no issue there. It's just that like I need somebody to check me and be like, don't do this. I need to be able to check in with you and say,
Mm.
I'm about to go hit McDonald's. Tell me I shouldn't do it.
Right, right.
Like, you know.
But I'm the first one that would be like, oh,
You'd be like, self
do you want a
care.
friend?
Do
Yeah.
you wanna what you want?
Do you want me
Two
to
hash
go
browns
out?
for $2.50? Is that what you want?
That's what I do. Yes. Anyway. Okay. So
So
shout out to
my
Andrew.
my eating is my terrible eating habits are triggered by stress. So
Mm-hmm.
that was one thing I learned.
For sure.
The other thing I learned was after even in preparation for the TEDx talk, I think I was dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome. I think I was dealing with a lot of how could I possibly provide tools for other people to follow? How could I possibly inspire and motivate other people if I know I'm dealing with these challenges and myself and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really properly dealing with my own stuff. Um, and so it really was something that was heavy on my conscience as I was preparing, even the week after when I was having that kind of decompressing moment. I was just kind of like, did I really mean anything that I said? Like, am I following through? And this week actually presented something to me that showed me that I am following through. So
Which was
this week was really challenging, but I really got a chance to see how patience and persistence, that portion that I spoke about, really shine through this week. And I just really was grateful for that because sometimes while I of course love the validation from others and reminders from others that like I am on the right path, I really want to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
there was just a few things that happened this week that showed me, you know what, if you just keep doing what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
keep moving forward, never give up. You can take a rest, but never give up. Things will really happen for you. And I just want to encourage you all to really stand in your value, because if you have a goal or something you want to achieve, it most likely none of it's going to come easy. None of it. No matter what it is. But like
True.
your consistency, your purpose, your passion, your patience, and your perseverance, honey.
Come on, TEDx.
That'll get you through. Which leads me to my last thing, which is I want to encourage you to be ready to receive your blessings. I want to encourage you to be available to take full advantage of opportunities that will be presented before you, and to drop the fear aspect. A lot of us are operating out of fear. We're afraid to try. We're afraid to take a risk, and risk taking is a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to necessarily say you're not living if you're not taking a risk, but I think you're missing out on a big portion of life and learning something about yourself if you are not taking risks. Like, what's the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just believe that's how you move forward. That's how you love forward. Any failure is only a step toward improving your game and improving yourself. Okay?
Mm.
So learn something from this and drop your fear today, because never in my life have I ever had to speak to a girl like this.
That is not how she said it, and you know that. Way too cool.
We are keeping the legend of Tyra Banks
alive forever.
Alive. That ain't going nowhere. So that's what I learned. What you got? What you learned this week, Booba? Bubbles.
Don't call me Bubbles. It's offensive.
Is it?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying that.
Okay.
Okay. Therapy. Went to therapy. We talked a lot about. She said that I'm an enabler. She said that.
I want you to say it with clarity, please.
I'm an enabler.
She's like, I'm an enabler. Like I'm like, can you please speak clearly and pronunciate and enunciate?
Well, it's not something I want to parade around.
Why not? You're on a platform where you're this is the village you're sharing with. I'm done. I'll go.
Said that I need to be more explicit about my boundaries and expectations, which is my job at school, by the way. So I'm like, oh shit, I really don't do that for my personal life. And that my childhood trauma has carried heavy into my relationships, which I kind of already knew, but some of the things she pointed out, I was like, okay, those things make sense. So something I don't ever talk about on the show is that when I was a kid growing up, so from the time I was 2 until the time I moved out of my house, actually, my parents' house, my mom's son lived with us, and he was much older. I have 3 half brothers who are much older than me. They were in their 20s when I was adopted. So, and my mom was very young when she had them. So, they've not had the best lives, I guess, or a lot of access to things in general. So anyway, one of those brothers lived with us for that entire time and was very emotionally abusive. And it's not that I don't talk about it because I'm embarrassed about it or because I'm ashamed. One of the things that I discovered this week was that I don't consider myself a victim of that trauma, or I don't always validate that as trauma, and I'm not quite sure why. I think maybe because I know what the realities are of emotional and physical and sexual abuse and how bad it can be.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. I think I see my situation and well, it wasn't that bad.
You were scared. You're putting it on a scale.
I'm putting it on a scale. When the truth is trauma is trauma. I mean, there are levels of severity in that, any kind of abuse, but I'm kind of on one of those lower levels of severity. But what my therapist said, or what she reassured me of, is that doesn't invalidate the experiences that I've had. That's
where I was going to go next.
And I have a tendency to invalidate my own experiences, and I do that quite often, which I feel like was kind of an underlying thing in that last conversation we had about Asian people versus versus Black people, and how we should be better allies. And I don't think that I still stand by that, but I think that there are some underlying tones of invalidation of my own experience as an Asian person. So anyway,
I just don't feel like you need to oppress yourself in order to feel like you're lifting up someone else.
Right. And I think that's the
self-inflicted,
pattern. Yes. And that's the pattern that I've created. But as far as the enabling piece, she was saying that I'm an enabler when I process things for my friends and don't allow them to process them independently, which I understand and I get. I think the thing about it is that when I don't view those things as I don't view that as enabling. I view it as, well, here I am having to take on their emotional baggage again because they're not capable of doing it, or because I've pointed out and then they don't do any of the other processing, and then it's just natural for me. And I, like you and I talk about how we're processing partners, but you and I process things for each other. It's not like I'm just processing things for you or you're just processing things for me. We process them together.
But that's because we built a trusting relationship.
Right. But for a lot of relationships I have, that's not the case. I'm the only one processing. and I'm helping them process through stuff, but they don't actually ever help me process through stuff. And that's partly because I don't always bring up my own stuff and allow other people to help me process that. But another piece of that is that some of these friends just don't know how to do that. Like, they're just not capable of it, and it's not their fault. But most of what she said, even though we were talking in the context of my friendships, really related more back to Kenny and my relationship with him. And so I had a really long discussion with him about how I've enabled him to not do any of his own personal work, and I've also enabled him to.
Y'all should see my eyes, honey. I'm like, ooh, Chile.
I know, a lot of things. So anyway, therapy is a wonderful thing. Everybody should. I think that everybody could gain something from it if you're in the space for that. But I am now trying to work through how enabling folks is my version of being toxic in a relationship.
Woo!
Ooh, and I don't like that.
Oh, wow. But see, this is what I mean. It's just like, I love that you've come to this place. I mean, because you've always been like very aware and very like, you know, emotionally, I think fairly intact and together. You know, you're able to.
Why did you have to define that it was only you that felt that way?
No, I'm just saying. I really genuinely think that you are a very aware person, and I think that you're very like secure in a lot of ways. So to hear you, that to me is that going underneath those layers, the deep layers, the ones that you have now put the mirror on yourself to the point where you got yourself to the point where you don't want to see yourself, but you're facing it. You've reached your point. That point, you're touching on it, and I've done the same thing this week.
Yes.
Same thing for me. This week I noticed that, or my therapist helped me realize that I am the person who is preventing my relationships from excelling in a lot of cases.
Interesting.
Yes.
How so?
There is a deep guard that is embedded within me, but she also pointed out how the connection to the Black community in general, how we come with our own baggage and a lot of things that we don't deal with. And we do a lot of projecting that onto others. But I had to get through my performative nature. I had to get through the facade that I put up. You know, I had to get through, I had to stop blaming others. And really that's what I talked about last week. Turning that mirror inward is something else. And I've gotten comfortable with talking with so many people about these realities, and I've heard a lot of responses from folks who say, I'm just not ready to dive into my traumas.
Right.
And I'm just like, hard. I wish that it is hard, but for me at this point, it feels like it's not so hard. And that's where I need to also do my work and be patient with others, because each person has a different experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about why I don't ever speak about my childhood trauma, and part of it is what I had said a moment ago about how I don't want it to seem like I'm over dramatizing what I've been through, but also and this overall tendency I have to fuck.
But there's some system that's set in place to make you believe that you're over dramatizing or you're over analyzing, or that like my trauma isn't worthy because there's people who got it worse than me. There is something that has caused that. That wasn't something that was born of you. That was taught. That was learned.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
I can't imagine how many times we've probably been told it's not that big of a deal, or you're over analyzing, or you're overthinking.
Right. Also, the examples that I had around me, you know, like the way that my mom was impacted by it, the way that my dad was impacted by it, the way that Nicole was impacted by it, like those things also shaped the way that I viewed them too. I think that, you know, and nobody, even now in my family, nobody uses that word abuse when we talk about my brother. Nobody does. I'm the only one who does. But my mom doesn't talk about like the emotional abuse that she faced from him.
Right. Because think of the stuff that comes with it. It's like white people who don't want to be called racist.
Yeah.
Like, because people are going to automatically go to this state of thinking abuse is this really terrible thing where you beat someone or hit someone or destroyed someone's character. I don't know. But you know, along those lines, you know, you people are really, really tender about those words.
Right.
They don't want to receive or accept.
Yeah, and that's my fear. I think that's one of my fears about talking about it is that I don't want it to sound like I'm victimizing myself. When really it's not even about being a victim, it's just about the experience in general and how that's impacted me and how it continues to. But you know, doing the work is what's important in getting to these places. It also speaks to like we all have a public and a private self. And as we get older, the more those things kind of like meld together, which is why old people I feel like are so fucking cranky because they're like,
or why they're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to worry about a public persona anymore. This just is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I feel those things kind of start to merge, there's this gray area in where they meet, and I'm like, okay, I've got to figure out, because ultimately, you know, you've talked about your facade and all of that. But those things are both your public and your personal personas are both true to who you are. It's just about bringing them together and living more honestly
and being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
And that's what I always wonder about. I always wonder, like, when is going to be my moment where I'm able to recognize all of my things, all of my stuff, and to accept others for where they are and not be impacted by that, and no longer judge them or criticize them for not meeting a standard that I feel they should meet.
Yes.
In order to, you know.
And that's really difficult. Like, when she told me that I'm an enabler, I was like, but these people in my life are trash. I'm not enabling shit. This is just what they fucking do. And if anything, I'm being a nice fucking person.
I have a big heart.
But I'm a good person. So when she said that, and that's the thing too. I told her, I was like, listen, these relationships are really fucking hard. We're adults now. We're getting into like really what we're passionate about, and even though those things are changing consistently and throughout, there are ways that we're growing and maturing in which these relationships present more challenges, and it's hard to say that these are the things that I do to impact these kind of not the greatest relationships, instead of, because I've been in such a space recently. And another thing that I've talked about on the show is that I went through 27 plus years of giving energy and not considering what I was receiving back. So when I got into this space where I recognized that, I was like, well, fuck everybody. They don't get a fucking thing from me. I've given my shit, okay? Let me have a fucking year where I don't give anybody anything. And I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say about it. And I got into the space where I was like, well, cut that bitch out, never see you again, bye, I don't want to talk to you. And now that I'm in this space, I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? What does all of this mean? This is great that I'm doing the work and I'm figuring these things out about myself, but now how do I apply that in real time to these relationships? And what does that mean for that one person? Does that mean that I give the chance or I don't? And, you know, there are all of these conflicting messages on social media that are like, if somebody's toxic, cut them out, sis. You don't need them.
That ain't the way to do it. And that ain't the way to do it.
But then there's
a process that I believe you should go through before you cut somebody off. I think if you can be as upfront and honest with the person, if the person that you have a conflict with isn't able to come to the table with anything to you, or to bring up a conversation about what's happening between the both of you, it will be ultimately up to you, should you decide to bring it to them and to let them know, this is how you feel, this is how you made me feel, and this is the direction I see us heading, should this not adjust or change.
And that's another thing that people who aren't very self-aware don't understand is non-confrontational language. Like, another thing.
Stop with the cursing. Don't curse. I really got into that and understanding, like, you know, curse words are threatening.
Oh yeah, I don't curse when I'm in a conflict at all, ever.
I
will only,
I lose it. I want to work on it though. My therapist sent me like a whole bunch of PDFs about non-confrontational or non-aggressive
really
responses.
I feel like I don't ever approach conversations with people confrontationally. I'm confrontational when I'm not around them.
Right.
But when I'm face to face, I'm not.
On the
on
mic.
the podcast, just publicly, very publicly. But you know, she was pointing out things that are patterns in relationships of mine. People not taking responsibility when I tell them how I feel or what they've done. Repeating conversations, having to say it several times in a row, then turning around and blaming shit on me.
And that's a matter of disrespect. That is a person who does not respect who you are.
Well,
and
she said it is emotionally abusive behavior.
Yeah.
So I came home to Kenny and I was like, so listen, I'll only say this once. No, he was very understanding. We had a conversation about it. And, you know, I told him, I was like, I don't think you're emotionally abusive, but if you continue to use these tactics now that I've pointed it out, that is you actively taking advantage of me and my role in this relationship. So that's stuff I have to work on, right? Because I have to stop enabling him to do those things and to say those things. And
that's so challenging because, I mean, for you to be so upfront and clear and explicit about what it is, you know, what it is that's happening, how you've experienced this.
Right.
I can only imagine, you know, how challenging it might be for him to try to take that in and receive that.
Right. Because I told him, I was like, listen, this has been 5.5 years of the same shit in terms of what I bring and what you bring. And I've a part of that is that I've allowed that to happen. I thought by just telling you, hey, these are the things that I need you to work on, that was going to fix it. But ultimately, that also requires less active participation in your processing from me. Because if I keep doing that for you, you're not going to ever learn to do it for yourself. Like, even down to figuring out tools. Because I always tell him, I'm like, well, maybe you should do therapy, or maybe you should write, or maybe you should do this. And I give him all of these suggestions, when really those are just things that he should be doing on his own. I can help motivate that, but I can't be doing that for him. So anyway.
Yeah.
You therapy rocked my world this week,
it
bitch.
Did, honey. It called you, honey. Hook, line, and sinker, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I've definitely had experiences where I've suggested therapy and been met with nothing but aggressive behavior and nothing but like
confrontational language.
Confrontation, instantly defensive.
Yes.
Like, oh, okay, I'll just never bring this up again. Wow.
Yeah. Woo.
Well, that's what we learned this week. Was there anything else you wanted to drop in before we drop out?
Jesse is charged with 16 counts. And
listen.
Paul Manafort is out here, that dusty bitch, with fucking 47 months.
Wait, it was 47 months? It wasn't 47 years?
No, bitch. 47 months. So there are all these comparisons about what other folks have done, particularly people of color, to get way more time than 47 months that are way less impactful than what he did.
That young man who was 12 years old at the mall who was just selling his CDs. He's a young entrepreneur.
I really
and
hated
that stupid mall cop.
I
could not believe it. I could not believe that cop, whatever he was, decided to put his hands on that child, and he is facing felony charges.
I hate listening to the mother, like, and the distress that she was experiencing, and what that young man was experiencing,
and how he held it together too. Traumatic.
And
y'all hoes get away, and y'all are allowed to treat our bodies this way. Y'all get away with it, and you get to go home and get paid and come back to do the job that you're doing, to continue to still be abusive, to continue to still kill us, without any remorse, without a care, without a consideration or a thought. And I can't. And
I want to be really clear about this. I know we've heard feedback about this podcast about how we talk a lot about race, and maybe it's too much, and maybe it's too heavy. This entire country, including the systems that are still in place, not just, and I don't mean systems like as a word, I mean education, I mean healthcare, I mean law enforcement, I mean prison, the prison industrial, I mean welfare, I mean health, we already talked about healthcare, didn't we? Down to athletic clubs out here too. Capitalism in general. All of those things are based on racism. Every single one of them. Yeah. And you don't get to make the argument that they're not. Education, one of the intentions of education was to assimilate an entire race of people who own this land first. Or
we're present here first.
Yes. Healthcare is very much a tool for oppression. Welfare as well. Retirement, like any kinds of those funds. When you think about capitalism and making money, all built on slavery. Pretty much every working system, whether there are good people in the system or not, and I'm an example of that. Education is a trash system, absolutely. Some big things coming up. I gotta tell you about these. I can't say them on air, but anyway, every single system in this country is built on racism. It's built on the bodies of Native American folks and of black folks, period. So when you say we talk too much about racism, that is your own denial of what land you're living on right now. Yeah. Because it's not everything, every issue that anybody ever brings up. My mind instantly goes back to racism. Well, that happens because of racism. And people can dilute it with all of this other shit. Well, no, it's really about the working middle class, and it's really about this, and it's really about that. It's not about any of those things. It's not about any of those things. If you look at the basis of everything that our country was built on and every system and how everything started, it all started with the genocide and assimilation of Native American folks and slavery. Mm-hmm. Period. So anyway, I don't want to hear any more shit about how we talk too much about racism.
I don't think it's so much the conversation about that. I think, and yes, it is. It's more so white folks just don't want to be made to feel bad. They don't want to feel like they have contributed. Precisely. Or that they're privileged. Right.
Which is why we dilute all of these conversations with things that have nothing to do with racism, when really that's really the foundation for all of it. Mm-hmm. But
anywho, that's the truth with K and B.
Okay.
Coming up next.
Hugs and kisses.
Loves, hugs.
Yep.
And butt plugs. Funny. That was good. That was good.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I forgot about the It's the Five segment until I said ooh.
Great. 13 viewers. That was
awesome. On the VVP?
Oh. No, on mine.
Gross.
It doesn't take much to look on the local news every night and see how many black kids, black boys, black men are being killed with these stand-your-ground defenses that these people raise. Then they get off. So I take issue with that. I'm the only person here of color, okay? I am a mother, too. And I have a son. And I care as much for my son as y'all care for y'all's. But my son doesn't walk the same path as yours does. So this debate deserves more time. I'm in Pine Bluff. We have killings regularly down there. Mr. Hunter knows, he's our prosecutor. No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. What the hell are you gonna do? Shoot me?
Woo! She was not here for it today. Yeah, we'll have to rewatch that one. Caught in the spirit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that. I don't know. It's been so hard to observe. I'm getting so tired,
Stand your ground defenses.
I'm getting beat, man. With all of just constantly seeing this. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
This is a lot to take in daily.
All the time.
All the time. All the time.
But a lot of it is positive. Some of it is positive.
Oh, we had 4 viewers on VVP. That's okay too.
How do you, who?
Oh, I already saved it, so I don't know. Oh, hey Chris. Hey Janita. I don't know who's watching now. I think Aaliyah's watching now.
Hey Aaliyah.
Do we have any messages from folks?
Mm-mm. Oh, I'll tell you what. Tell us that.
I guess I'm making this button bigger now. Oh wait, what? Oh, okay.
Okay. Dentist appointment. So they emailed me, texted me and said, "Do you want to? If I come over right now?" And I said, "We're in the middle of a segment because we had just started What We Learned."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "If it's okay with you, we can call or text after recording and figure out a better time." I said 3 today could work too. And then they said, "Actually, never mind. I don't think I'll make it to my dentist if I come over to X right now." Essentially.
So we're not doing it today.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. We might be doing it at 3, and then Juan's not showing up until 1:30.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
Should we just do
It's a vibe.
the closing now?
Yeah. Let's just Ding, 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 ding. Let me.
Oh my god. Oh shit. If we're doing